Hello, Namaste, Hare Krishna. Today we're talking about a controversial subject, but an important subject, that's why we're going to talk about it, which is, should a human being be consuming dairy products or not? So of course there's many opinions on the matter, and sometimes people get very heated about it, and I'm not just going to add my own opinion. That's not what it's about. That's not going to help the situation. It's not going to help us get to a definitive answer on the subject. So what we're going to do is just base our talk on what the ancient Vedic culture says about it. So I'm just the messenger, so please don't shoot the messenger. And we're trying to be as objective as we can be, and not just bring our own emotional take into it, but just think with a clear head and very logically. So please just hear what the Vedas has to say about the subject. So we'll talk first about the Vedic ideal, and why is it in the Vedic culture that cows are given special protection more than any other creature. Every creature is part and parcel of God, and there's a soul within every creature. However, special protection is given to cows in Vedic culture, and they're worshipped. They're worshipped like that. So what's the reason for that? Is there a reason for that? Yes, there are. There's many reasons for that. So we'll explain that. So we'll look at the Vedic standard, and then we'll look at the current situation that we're in now, which is generally around the world not following the Vedic standard. And in the situation that we're facing right now, which is not very ideal, that cows are often being mistreated and everything like that, in that case, should we still be having dairy products in our diet? So we'll look at that. And just to share with you a little bit about my own background, because my own background is not very ideal. I was brought up here in New Zealand, and as a youth I remember seeing my father shoot cows, sorry to say, and other creatures, sheep and so forth, with a gun, you know. So that was what was in my background, which is horrific, you know, now that I look back at it. But the amazing thing is, due to me receiving this knowledge from Vedic culture, I've changed my ways, you know, from being a cow killer, you know, to trying to protect cows. And now we have 2 cows here on the property that we have vowed to protect them for the rest of their life until they die naturally. They're going to have a safe haven here. So, change my ways, you know, and it's all due to this knowledge of ancient Vedic culture. So before we really kick off, I'd like to say one verse from the Vedic wisdom to try to invoke blessings and auspiciousness on this talk. So here it is. It's from a literature called the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and this is the Sanskrit. Agrata shantu me gavo me shantu prishtata, gavo me parshvata shantu gavam madhye vasamyaham. So what that means in English is, may cows stay in front of me, may cows stay behind me, may cows stay on both sides of me, may I always reside amidst cows. May I always reside among cows. Actually, just having cows around us is so auspicious, so good for us. You know, so we'll look at why is it that the cow is just such an incredible creature. So, like I said, I'm going to base this talk on the Vedic philosophy, not just my own ideas and beliefs and so forth. So first of all, just briefly, what do you mean by, Vedic culture, Vedic knowledge? What's that about? Is it just, some Indian belief system or something? No, it's far more than that. There is universal knowledge that came about when the universe was created. Just like if you get a vehicle, a new vehicle, it'll come with an instruction manual. So any new device, you'll get an instruction book. The person that manufactures it gives you a manual how to operate it. So when the universe was created, then we need to know what to do, how to exist in this universe. So the Creator, who you may call by many names, God, Krishna, Jehovah, Allah, so forth, has given us an instruction book, a reference, a standard of how to live and what to do and everything like that. And that's called the Vedas. So that was present all over the world until it's explained the Vedas 5,000 years ago. So within the last 5,000 years, towards where we are now, the whole culture has been broken and split up and divided and everything like that. And now we see there's just a little bit of remnants of it in India, but it's far more. The Vedas is not just Hinduism or anything like that. What some Hindus follow has some parts of the Vedas in it, and some things are not as well. So it's not Hinduism, it's far greater than that. It's universal truths, universal knowledge coming from the source of all knowledge like that. It's perfect knowledge. And just like, how are you going to know what law is? Through the law book. And also through the lawyer, someone that is an expert in law, that practices law. So how are we going to find out the truth of the matter in any subject, whether it's cows or something else? We've got to look at the law book. So the universal law book is the Vedas. Then we can find out. And we've also got to find the expert who knows the law to explain it to us. And that is the spiritual master, the guru, who knows the Vedas and can explain the Vedas to others. That is the best way to get a grasp on any subject. So let's look at some Vedic texts, what they say about cows, and then we can talk about that. So this is from one literature called the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is said to be the essence of all the Vedas. From the 3rd canto, chapter 5, text 7. The cow is the most important animal for developing the human body to perfection. The body can be maintained by any kind of foodstuff, but cow's milk is particularly essential for developing the finer tissues of the human brain, so that one can understand the intricacies of transcendental knowledge. A civilized man is expected to live on foodstuffs comprising fruits, vegetables, grains, sugar and milk. The bull helps in agricultural process of producing grain, etc. And thus, in one sense, the bull is the father of humankind, whereas the cow is the mother. So there we have it from the Vedas, that the main reason why the cow is to be given special protection and worshipped is because it's giving such valuable contributions to human society, more valuable than what we get from a dog or a cat or a sheep or so forth. There's souls in all of them, no doubt. So on that spiritual platform, everything's equal. But the contribution that the cow is giving us is more than in any other species. And the main contribution mentioned here is the milk from the cow, is nourishing tissue in a special part of the brain that deals with spiritual realization. And that is the essence of why it's so essential to consume dairy products, especially milk, and especially hot milk. It's said that when you drink the milk hot, not just cold out of the fridge, it rises up to the brain and nourishes that tissue in the brain that deals with spiritual realization. And please consider that only in the human form do we consider spiritual realization. Not any other creature does that. Not means, what is that? That no other creature is thinking about, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Is there a solution to the suffering? What is the purpose of my life? Where do I come from? Where do I go? Is there a God? What's my relationship with God? Am I the body or something else? So only a human in the human form is that there. And that aspect of our existence, of being very inquisitive about spiritual subject matters, that is developed only, according to the Vedas, only by drinking the cow's milk. That aspect of our being, to be inquisitive about spiritual subject matters, and not only inquisitive, but understanding, comprehending, because isn't it we say it goes in one ear, out the other. So if you don't just want it to go out the other, we don't comprehend, then we need to develop our brain power, and that is by the cow's milk, and not by goat's milk, not by sheep's milk. I saw one post the other day about some guy promoting sheep's milk. But that might be good for your body. You might get a big, fat, strong, muscly body or whatever by drinking sheep's milk and goat's milk. But it's not going to develop that part of the brain. Only the cow's milk does that. And for that particular reason, that the cow is foundational to our spiritual evolution, our spiritual growth. Therefore, it's given first protection. And that's the reason. Not because it's cute or cuddly or anything else, got big floppy ears and nice eyes or anything like that, but because it's our number one friend in spiritual development. And spiritual development means liberating the soul from suffering. So it's helping us to get free from suffering and get back to our eternal spiritual existence of bliss and knowledge. So without the cow, we can't do that, according to the Vedas. According to the Vedas, and that's in the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, the basis of human life is three things. Protecting cows so that you can get the milk, that's one. And then Brahminical culture, what the hell's that? So Brahminical culture means a culture where we're developing the mode of goodness. So what's the mode of goodness? In Sanskrit it's called sattva guna. So the mode of goodness means it's arranging your life in such a way that you become more open to receiving knowledge. So there's a growth of knowledge in you. The other symptom of the mode of goodness is happiness. So in the mode of goodness you get more knowledge and more happiness. And those are both good things, aren't they? So it's said that protecting the cows and taking the milk from the cows will help us develop that mode of goodness. It means you'll get more knowledge. Like I said, develops the brain, you can understand things better, so you'll get more knowledge. You'll come to the mode of goodness. And then from that mode of goodness, having more knowledge, then the third and most important foundation of human life is to realize the Supreme Being, to realize God, our relationship with God, develop our love for God. So those are three foundational aspects of life: to protect the cows and take milk from them, develop our brain, get knowledge, and then the third one is to realize our relationship with the Supreme Being. That's according to Vedic culture. We might think there's many other purposes: sex, drugs, rock and roll, eat, drink and be merry. But according to the Vedas, that's not the purpose of human life. So that's the number one foundation. You can't get knowledge without the help of the cows. So we have to, have a healthier relationship with the cows. Obviously, you can't get milk if you kill it, right? If you kill the cow, then where's the milk? Even me as a gardener, most valuable thing for me as a gardener, I need fertilizer. And what's the number one best fertilizer? Is the cow manure. And it's better than sheep poo, horse poo, every poo. The best one is cow poo. You can't, if you kill the cow, you can't get cow poo. You know, so you've lost that. The cow urine is actually medicine according to Ayurveda. You know, it's medicine. You can't get the medicine if you kill the cow. So it actually makes much more sense. And even if you want to look at it from a profit point of view, it's much more profitable to keep the cow alive than dead. Right? You can get the milk, you can get the manure, and in India, right, they'll splat it on the wall, the cow poo, and dry it out too, and then burn it as a fuel for cooking. They'll even smear the floor of the house with cow poo, and the walls and everything, and it's inside the house. Why the hell would you do that? It's scientific. All the bad bugs, they don't like crawling on cow poo. So they put a thin layer right through the house inside. And the scorpions and the spiders and the snakes and that don't go in that house. So damn, that's damn good, isn't it? That's so intelligent. You don't need to spray your poisons and everything to keep them away and kill yourself in the process. You just put this antiseptic cow poo there. You know previously how they used to like clean all the blood and guts off the benches in the hospitals? In Indian culture? With cow poo, believe it or not. It gets rid of all those germs in the blood and guts and everything like that. Just smear it with cow poo and it's all clean, ready to go for the next one. Like that. It's the only animal waste. The cow waste are the only animal waste that have antiseptic properties. It means they get rid of bad things. They don't have any toxic properties. It means it's not going to kill you or hurt you. Anything else, I wouldn't touch it with a pole. Not horse poo, sheep poo, human poo, urine, everything like that. It's all toxic. It's all got all bad things in it, nasties. But cow poo and cow urine, and this is scientifically proven, after the Vedas have already said it, but even scientifically it's proven that it's all antiseptic. It's not going to hurt you. And I personally have used cow urine in a medicinal way and consumed it and everything like that. And I'm still going strong. I have people, I've had especially Indians approaching me when I was like on a farm in Australia and that, asking me to supply them with cow urine. Why? Because they've got cancer. It's like anti-cancer. It's like antibacterial, antifungal, anti-cancer, anti-everything bad. It's anti. You know, so it's just such an incredible animal. And you can only get those things alive. So even profitably. You know, people say, but we want to eat meat or whatever like that. But just wait till it dies. Once the cow dies naturally, which it will, do you know what the mortality rate is for every single species, human and cow and that? Do you know what the mortality rate is? 100%. You know, everything's going to die eventually. When the cow dies, okay, if you like eating meat, then just eat it after it dies. But no need to kill the cow. And then you can take the skin too, and make your leather boots and belt and everything like that. After it dies, no need to set up a slaughterhouse and kill it. So that's the Vedic standard. That's the Vedic standard. And previously, of course, before tractors came along and put the bull out of a job, then the bull, as mentioned in this verse, was used in agriculture for ploughing. The bull would be used to plough the fields, and they would plant their rice and wheat and vegetables and everything like that. So the bull is regarded as a father. Just like we say, right? The father brings home the bread, right? There's an old saying, father brings home the bread. This is the breadwinner. We say the father is the breadwinner. So the bull is like a father. It's helping us grow our bread. Without the bull, you wouldn't be able to get your bread. So it's just like a father. And the cow is regarded as the mother, respected as the mother. Just like our birth mother gives us milk for maybe 6 months if we're lucky. These days you don't even get that. It's just straight onto your powdered milk or whatever. But previously we get the mother's breast milk for 6 months or 1 year. In some cultures you get the breast milk for a lot longer than that. But even then it's not forever. But the cow's milk, we're straight after the mother's milk, we're on the cow's milk for the rest of our life, for the majority of people around the world. So the cow is so much our mother, isn't it? So much, even more than our birth mother, you know, is nourishing us for our whole life, you know, with that, giving it out of love. And people will say, well, the cow's milk is there for the calf. Not for humans, but for the calf. But no, not according to the Vedas. I mean, even just think about it logically, put the Vedas aside. Say the cow gives 20 to 30 litres of milk a day. Just say that might be an average. Say the average is 20 litres a day. Does the calf, when it's born, or at any time, drink all that 20 litres? No, it doesn't. So what is that? Say it drinks 5 litres, or say it even drinks 10 litres, if it's a greedy one. Then what about the remaining 5, 10 plus litres? What's supposed to happen with that? I'll tell you what, if you don't take all that milk out of the cow's udder, it's terribly bad for the cow's health. It creates so many diseases. One of them is called mastitis. If that milk stays in there, you don't take it out every day, it's terribly bad for their health. And you should see, even like a cow shed, right? Did you know you don't have to call the cows to get milked? They come running. They know the milking time, and they come running. Do you know why they came running? Because they feel the pressure of all that milk in their udder, and they want to get it out. They want to get it released, so they're very happy to get milked. They're very happy to get milked. You know, so in Vedic culture, what they do, when the calf is young, first let the calf take as much milk as it wants, and when it's fully satisfied, then the human being would very carefully take the milk out by hand, not with a machine, would take the milk out by hand, and then that milk would be consumed and, you know, turned into yogurt and paneer and all kind of delicious foods. You can make so many delicious foods by different milk products, you know, very satisfying and nourishing the brain and tasty and everything like that. And then also, slowly, the calf is going to drink more and more grass. And it'll come to a point where that calf, as it's growing up, doesn't want to drink any milk anymore. But the cow is still pumping out milk. I mean, the cow is going to give milk minimum, at least for 1 year, at least. But the calf is not drinking milk for a year, maybe for some months, you know, and slowly less and less. But what about for the rest of that year? What's going to happen with that milk? So it's meant for human beings. It's meant for human beings. And I tell you what, if you have a loving relationship with the cow, there's not even any need to get the cow pregnant every year. Of course, generally, a cow is not going to give milk unless it becomes pregnant. But I have friends that have such an intimate, loving relationship with the cow, and the cow is seeing it as like the people as like an extension of its family, that without getting the cow pregnant again, that cow continues to give milk for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, like that. Just keeps on going. Slowly, the milk production will go down. In the first year, 20, 30 litres, and then a bit less, 18, 16, 14, you know, and after some, you know, years or so, it might be just 2 or 3 litres a day. But still, it's giving milk for the people because it loves the people. It loves the people. So the cow is such a loving animal. I've even seen cows give milk to, other animals. You know, that you see another animal, you know, feeding from the udder of the cow. I've seen pictures of that on social media, you know, like that. Sheep and, you know, cats and dogs and stuff feeding from and the cow is happily giving to them. So it's not that the milk is only for calves. That's a nonsense idea. That's not true like that. So that's the ideal. And the cow is giving us so much, you know, so any civilized person would have some gratitude. I mean, you're giving me fertilizer, you're giving me medicine, you're giving me fuel for cooking and everything, heating. Your, you know, go-bar gas is also there. You can get gas from the, you know, cow dung like that. And after you die, you're giving me, you know, clothing items and everything like that. And you're giving me milk, which is so delicious and tasty foods I can make from that. And good for my brain, helping me get out of this miserable world and go back to the spiritual world and everything like that. And after all that, what do? Cut your head off? No, that's just number one ignorant. That's the number one ignorance. There's nothing more ignorant than that. That's so ungrateful. That's so ungrateful. So anyone with a brain between the ears, should immediately not do that. Kill cows. They're giving us so much. There's no creature that gives a human society more than what a cow gives. Like that. I'll tell you what the Vedic standard is if someone attempts to kill a cow or kills a cow. They're executed on the spot. That's previously like that. The king, when the time when there was kings and previously in Vedic culture, you try to hurt a cow or kill a cow, then that's immediate death sentence. That was how much protected the cows were in Vedic culture. It's immediate. The human being is immediately terminated, if it tries to hurt a cow like that. There's that degree of protection. And it's actually good for the person to be killed in that situation. And I'll tell you why. Of course, modern society is not going to agree with any of this. But anyway, I'm telling you what the facts are according to the Vedas. Anyone else can not like it. That's their problem. But that's actually good for them to be killed because according to the Vedas, and I'll read this one. This is from a literature called the Chaitanya Charitamrita, saying that cow killers are condemned to rot in hellish life for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of the cow. Did you get that? Cow killers are condemned to rot in hellish life for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of the cow. So there's a lot of hairs on the cow. So that's not a good future, not a good outlook. And don't turn off this video now and be depressed about that, because I'm going to explain how to get out of that. I'm going to explain how to get... Because like I said, I come from a cow killer background too. So I'm no better than a lot of us. I come from that background of killing cows. So does that mean we have to rot in a hellish life, for as many hairs as there are on the body of the cow that's been killed? It can happen, but there is ways to get out of it. So we're going to look at that. So there is hope for us, previous cow killers or current cow killers. There is hope for us. So stay with us and get the full story, get the full picture. So yeah, what's the current situation we're in now? It's like we're saying, people kill cows, and of course, it's many people can figure out that eating meat is not good for them, and stop doing that. That's very good. Become vegetarian and that. But then still it pulls on the heartstrings, isn't it? But even the dairy industry, forget about the slaughterhouses and that, but eating meat. But okay, we stopped consuming meat, but then the dairy industry itself is not much better, because after the cow stops giving a good quantity of milk, when the production goes down, then they'll send them off to the slaughterhouse just the same as the beef industry. So beef industry, dairy industry is not much different. It's said on average a cow doesn't live more than 5 years in any industry, like that. So, our cows are like nearly 20. But most cows don't make it much past 5 or 6, like that, if they're lucky, like that. So it's very cruel, and they're not treated, well generally. But even if they are treated well, even like it's organic, you raise your cows organically and nice pastures and everything like that, and you don't pump them up with chemicals and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if they're still killed for organic meat or whatever like that, even if they are on pastures and not in a factory or whatever like that, but they're still killed. So whether you say kill them nicely or kill them cruelly, no, killing is just cruel, full stop. It's not about you can kill in a nice way or in a not a nice way. No, it doesn't work like that. So many of us, may consider, okay, I've become a vegetarian, but still, I'm still participating in this wicked dairy industry, which is, so harsh and cruel on the cows and that. So should we become a vegan? Like that. That question may come. So, should we become a vegan? According to the Vedic culture, no. No, we shouldn't. That's not the solution. Because if you do that, okay, by you not taking dairy products, have you stopped the dairy industry? Have you saved the lives of many cows? It's still gonna go on. But one thing that's not going to go on is your brain is not going to go on. By you stopping taking the milk and nourishing the brain for the spiritual realization, you're going to continue coming back in the material world, most likely. You're going to keep on reincarnating if your brain is not developed. So that is the real potential of human life, to get out of the cycle of birth and death, out of reincarnating, and that is only, like I said, the foundation of that is by taking the milk. And if you, for whatever reason, stop taking the cow's milk and think I'll take oats milk, almond milk, soy milk instead, or goats, whatever milk instead, but it's not going to help your brain. You might have good health and everything like that. You still can be a PhD, BSc, MBA without taking cow's milk. It's not going to affect that. But if you want spiritual realization, which is said to be the sole purpose of human life, then you need to keep taking cow's milk. So that's not the way to go, to stop taking milk just because the dairy industry is cruel. But is it worthwhile that to help us, but we're hurting the cows? But there is a way that by you taking the dairy from the current dairy industry, that you can help them, and I'll explain that, and I'll take it from the Vedas also. But I'll give you, before I say that, I'll give you another option. Okay, and this is an ideal way to go in our current situation. Is that, okay, this dairy industry sucks, but I still need to take milk. So what to do? I know what I do. I'll get a bit of land, I'll get some cows, and I'll milk the cows myself, or someone else can milk the cows here, and we're not going to kill them. We're going to protect them for the rest of their life. That's primo. That's like number one way to go. Get some land, get some cows, look after the cows properly as they would in ideal Vedic culture, respectfully, everything like that. Take some milk, nourish your brain, and get liberated. Go back to the spiritual world. That's first class. However, how many people can do that? And yeah, maybe some can do that, but it'll take some time, right? Can you do that? You're going to have your own milk from protected cows called Ahimsa dairy. Ahimsa means non-violence. So you're going to have your own non-violent dairy products tomorrow. Sorry, mate, it's going to take a while. First of all, you have to get the land, and then you have to get the cows, and then you have to get them pregnant, and then you have to learn how to milk cows, because probably you've been working in an office your whole life, and you don't know how to milk a cow. They'll probably kick you, and you won't get any milk, or kick the bucket over at least, and you won't get any milk. So it's not so easy. It's not so easy to make that transition. I'm saying it is a good transition. It's the best transition. I mean, even we're not quite there yet. We got the land. We've got some cows, but they're old cows. So they're not possible to milk them. They're grandmothers. But even we could get some new cows. But I just don't have enough time and energy to milk cows on top of trying to grow fruit, grow veggies, cut the firewood, do everything else. 24 hours is not enough. I need some help, If I had one or two other people here, and some of them were young and they had the ability and that to milk cows, then I would support that, definitely. Or if there was someone down the road that was doing it, I would get the milk from protected cows from them. So that's number one way to go in this current situation, is to be part of some community of people, like-minded people, that are into protecting cows and taking that milk without any violence in it. So that's first class. But being realistic, being practical, and it may take some time, but we should make plans for that. We should make plans for that. But in the meantime, what are we going to do? We're going to stop drinking milk for the next 5 or 10 years till we get our act together? No, we shouldn't. So I'll explain. That we should, in the meantime, keep taking the dairy products from this cruel dairy industry. But I'd say only take what you need. Means, say, like the spiritual master has recommended that for developing our brain tissue, take like up to half a litre of milk a day. half a litre of milk a day. Up to 1 litre, between half a litre to 1 litre of milk per day. Maybe some in the morning, some in the evening or whatever. So maximum that. So, and maybe some yogurt and things like that is also very good for the health and digestion and everything like that. But don't go crazy and like every day you eat 2 tubs of ice cream and everything like that. And no, that's unnecessary. We're talking about you take just enough. You should take just enough for keeping yourself healthy and for your spiritual development. Don't become a pig and a glutton and just consume, unnecessary amounts just for the satisfaction of the tongue. That's not good. That's bad karma. That's sinful. But every living being has a right to survive. So we have a right to survive, just like every creature has a right to survive. So, but unfortunately, as you know, the law of nature, one living thing is food for another. So we have to survive on the basis of consuming something else, doesn't it? You can't stop eating, right? If you figure that out, please tell me. But you can't stop eating. So you have to consume something. And whether it's consuming animals to survive, or you're consuming plants to survive, or dairy products to survive, like that. But you have to consume something. And bear in mind, there's a soul within the plants too, mate. So don't think that, I'm not killing anymore because I'm a vegetarian or a vegan or whatever like that. No, you still are. Because there was a soul within the lettuce that you just ate, or the cauliflower or the broccoli or whatever like that. There was a soul there as well. And they're also reincarnating and evolving towards getting out of this material world, like, birth after birth. And you just ate it, so its body, so that soul has to come back again to finish off the last month in the body of the lettuce, because you ate it halfway through its lifespan, so it has to come back and take birth again in the body of a lettuce to continue on its evolution, right? So you've slowed down the evolution of that soul by consuming its body, its plant body or whatever like that. Of course, the difference is that in more highly conscious animals are more conscious than plants. The soul in a plant is not so conscious as what the soul in an animal is, and that's pretty easy to figure out. Which would you rather, if I give you a knife in your hand, which would you rather cut? Would you rather cut the head off the lettuce or cut the head off the cow? Most people would choose to cut the head off the lettuce because, the cow's going to scream and it's going to cry and it's going to run away. Whereas the lettuce is not so evolved, it doesn't have that much development of feeling of pain and pleasure. There is some, and there is research showing that actually plants do feel pain. There's actually scientific evidence of that they do experience pain. But it's not as much as a more highly developed creature. That's why there's more bad karma, the more pain that's inflicted. That's how it works. The more pain you inflict on others, then the more karma comes back to you, the more pain you have to suffer. So we try to minimize it, but you can't stop it. I mean, if you're going to walk to the supermarket, how many ants do you stand on, mate? Every time you breathe, how many bugs do you breathe in? Every time you drink water, how many bugs were in that water? You just swallowed them. Every time you light a fire, how many bugs in the air got burnt up? So you can't stop killing. If you think you can stop killing, you're an illusion. Even you're buying your vegetables from the supermarket. Do you know how many creatures that farmer that grew those vegetables in the supermarket killed to get your apple and your lettuce and your cauliflower? Do you know how many rats and mice they killed? How many possums they killed? How many aphids they sprayed? How many worms they cut up in the ground when they ploughed the ground? Killing is always there in any situation. All we try to do is try to reduce to a minimal level of what consciously we're killing. Unconsciously, like I said, when you walk somewhere, when you breathe, when you drink, unconsciously you're killing. But you try to reduce, what you're consciously killing. Because the more you kill, obviously there's more karma. What goes around comes around. As you sow, so you reap. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's the universal law. So you create suffering for others, it comes back. You kill others, then you have to be killed. And means you have to take another birth. Like there's pictures in our literatures, right, of a cow with the head of a person and a person with the head of the cow. What does that mean? that now the person, the human body with the head of the cow was cutting the cow with the head of a human. So what is that picture illustrating? That now the human is killing the cow. But in its next life, that human will take birth as a cow. And that cow in this life will next life take birth as a human. And the roles are reversed. Now I'm killing you, next time you kill me. So that's karma, and that's reincarnation. And it's very entangling. It's very hard to get out of it. Even a vegetarian, a vegan or a vegetarian, good luck. You can't just get out of the cycle of, rebirth just by being a vegan or a vegetarian. Because there's still killing going on, and you have to get the reaction for that. So don't become depressed and leave the conversation now, because I've got some good news coming up. So this is it. This is how you deal with it. Okay, before you get to the point where you have your own protected cows, this is what you do. So we still need the milk to develop the brain. So this is quite complicated, what I'm going to read. I'll try to fluff it out, explain what it means. This is from a literature, once again, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence of all the Vedas, from the second canto, chapter 9, text 36, in the purport and the commentary by the spiritual master. Check this out. Therefore, in all cases, namely, nominative, objective, causative, dative, ablative, possessive, and supportative, everyone is benefited by such transcendental loving service to the Lord. The man who worships the Lord, i.e. nominative, the Lord himself, i.e. objective, who is worshipped, the cause for which the Lord is worshipped, i.e. causative, the source of supply, i.e. supportative, the place where such worship is done, etc. Everything is benefited by such an action. So here's the loophole. This is the loophole. This is the loophole. What we need to do is, so this is another dimension, we're bringing you to the spiritual dimension now, to get out of this entanglement of karma and reincarnation and creating suffering. And if we actually want to benefit the cows, this is what we need to do. You need to offer what you eat, including the milk and the butter and the yogurt and the cheese and whatever you're eating. You need to offer that to God. You need to offer this to God. And if you think that's bullshit idea, sorry to use the French, then I'm sorry, mate, then the Vedas can't help you. Then, okay, good luck. You're going to continue getting the karma, continue reincarnation. But if you want to get out of this, find the loophole, this is the only loophole. Whatever you're going to eat, because remember, you're killing, even you're a vegan, your lettuce and whatever, you have to offer that lettuce. You have to offer that dairy to God. And how do you offer it to God if you don't know who God is? So the first thing you need to do, you need to find out who God is. You need to find out who God is, and you need to find the process of how to offer the food to God. There's a process of how, that's not very complicated. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to offer the food. It can be explained with you, in 5 minutes, how to offer the food to the Supreme Being. It's not difficult. And you don't have to be rich or highly educated or anything to do it. Anyone and everyone can do it. But you need to sacrifice. You need to offer the food to the Supreme Being. And like I said, you call him Krishna, call him Jehovah Allah, that doesn't matter, that's okay. So a Christian can still be a Christian, or a Hindu can be a Hindu, a Muslim can be a Muslim. And you offer, and what that does, and this is the evidence for this, that what I'm going to say is that if you offer that dairy from those cows, you offer that dairy to God, then the cow benefits. Even though it's going through the slaughterhouse, it's going to be killed, it's going to give they're going to exploit all the milk they can out of it. When it doesn't give any more, then they're going to kill it. So even though it's a miserable condition of life, suffering condition, and we can't really help them out of that, but as this verse says, the source of supply, supportative. The cow is the source of supply. You are supplying to God, something made with milk, something made with butter, something made with yogurt, right? So it's saying here, everything is benefited by such an action, including the source of supply. So this is the loophole to actually help the cows. We can still take the dairy products in the meantime until you get your non-violent dairy sorted out. And actually you can actually help those cows positively in their horrible situation by offering their products. That's the best thing you can do for these cows in horrible situation, is by continuing to take that dairy and offer it with love. Offer it with love to the Supreme. And then they will get some of the benefit. You will get benefit by offering it, because it's saying here, right? He who worships the Lord. So that's us, right? So the Lord benefit. The person that offers the food gets benefit. The Lord himself gets the benefit of obviously being given the food. And the place gets purified. Also where you do the offering, the sacrifice, and also all the ingredients, all the supply ingredients, they also get benefit. So this is the key. And then someone might ask, well, I just offer meat, and then the cow will benefit or whatever like that. I'll just offer the meat. But that logic doesn't work in this case, because you can only offer someone what they want to eat, right? Would you offer me meat? Well, you could, but I'm not going to eat it, because I don't want to eat meat. So what's the point of offering me meat? I'm not going to eat it. So that logic of something, the ingredients getting purified and benefited by offering to the Lord only works with a vegetarian diet, because it's explained in the Vedas what God eats, what the Lord eats. And that's explained, for example, in the Bhagavad Gita as fruits and vegetables and grains and dairy products, water, flowers, like that, leaves. But not meat. God doesn't eat meat. So you can't follow that same logic with meat. Because you could offer meat, but he won't eat it. And if he doesn't eat it, then it's not sanctified. It's not purified. It's not a successful sacrifice. Does that make sense? So you can only do that process of offering successfully with a vegetarian-based, ingredients like that. But in that way, the cows get benefit. So we're nearly up for time, and I've said most of what I wanted to say. There's one question here, which my wife's also got something she's writing. So the first thing is, Michael has said, Hare Krishna, what does Ayurveda say about milk kefir and fermented foods? Yeah, they're fine for health, for the physical health. Naturally fermented foods, not artificially man-made fermentation, like we talked about recently about man-made yeast. Commercial yeast is not good for the health. That's fungus, but it's a man-made one, so that's not good. But the natural yeast fungus from the air, which you can use to ferment the milk products, milk kefir and milk yogurt kefir and everything like that. So that's good for the health. And if it has got milk in it, then that'll be good for your brain, good for your spiritualization. So that's a double bonus. So I'm not saying that you can't live without milk and be healthy. No, you can. That's not the question. You can be a vegan and be good at academics, and you can be strong. You can be a bodybuilder and a weightlifter and everything like that. It's no problem. But the only thing that Vedas say is that for helping your spiritual realization, for that reason, you need to take cow's milk, which is the number one importance. Yeah, and now another point is comment. Mongols have survived on fermented, I don't know how to pronounce that, mares, M-A-R-E-S, milk, mare's milk. Oh, mare's milk, okay, got your horses. Yeah, female horses. Mare's milk for centuries. Yeah, so you can survive, no problem. A vegan can survive. But the only question is for enlightened, spiritually enlightened existence. For that purpose we need the milk. Not just for having a healthy machine. You can keep the machine healthy in different diets, but the cow's milk helps for that spiritual development. Okay, another one. But the milk is only for cows. No, I've already talked about that.
Mare's milk is also from animal milk.
I know. Yeah. So my wife's saying mare's milk was also from an animal. Yeah, but the point is that it's not going to help the brain development so much as what the cow's milk do. And that's our main... See, that's the main excellence of this human body. The main excellence is we have a special brain. We have an incredibly powerful, special brain, and that can be developed by the cow's milk. Other areas, animals are heaps better than us. I mean, like my dog, his eating ability is far better than mine. He can crunch bones to smithereens in his mouth, and he doesn't need anything to help, a knife or a fork or a grinder, anything. His mouth is incredible for demolishing anything. His digestive system, my digestion is so pathetic, it's not funny. But his digestion is, he can digest bones and everything like that. Or his eyesight, he can see a little bug, a bee flying in the air and then grab it and like that. And, an eagle can see, from 2 kilometres up in the air. It doesn't have glasses or anything. I can't see 1 metre ahead of me without my glasses hardly. And an eagle can see miles above and everything. And, like a pig can have a dozen babies at a time. But we struggle, a female human, to pump out, one every year or two, and at great risk of dying, or the child dying. But pig can pump out 12 every 6 months. So other species are heaps better than us at everything, except for one thing. The only thing we've got above every other creature is our brain. Unfortunately, in modern society, 99.9% of human beings in modern day society don't use their brain or don't have much of a brain because they're not taking the milk products sufficiently and are not utilizing that brain for what it's made for, which is for spiritual realization. We're using our brain to create more powerful weapons to kill more people, or using our brain to create, bigger tunnels or bigger bridges or smaller mobile phones, faster internet speed, to create social media platforms and everything. So we're using our brain for everything else except for what it's supposed to be used for, which is to find the ultimate bliss. And that is in the spiritual realization, to find the ultimate happiness, which is said, what is the ultimate happiness? It has to be unlimited. It has to be eternal. Because in the material world, is the happiness unlimited? No, I'm sorry, even Bill Gates, it's not unlimited. He's going to grow old, he's going to get sick, and he's going to die. And it doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire, zillionaire, whatever like that, you still have to grow old, you still have to get sick, you have to die. So you're not going to find unlimited happiness and bliss anywhere in the material world. You have to go beyond the material world. And going beyond the material world, that is the spiritual life. And that spiritual life is only potential for spiritual life is only possible, according to the Vedas, by the consumption of dairy products, especially consuming hot milk, which rises to the brain, nourishes the brain. So, well, one more thing is said. Johnny, humans have been allocated fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains and milk products as foodstuffs. Yeah, so that's a good point, that, you know, every creature has an allotment by the Supreme Being, has created all these different species and giving them a particular quota or share of his resources. So obviously for a dog, you know, and cat and tiger, they have been allotted meat, and you can see they're cut out for that. They got sharp teeth and nails and everything, and they're perfect at eating meat. But human being, you know, we can tell just by the way our body looks. Our hand is designed for like picking fruit and nuts and stuff like that, not for ripping flesh. And we have flat molars. We don't have any vicious sort of canines. We need a knife and a fork to eat meat. You know, so we can tell that what our allotment is. You know, and you know, if you do eat meat, then it tends to decay inside your intestines before it comes out, because we have long intestines and you get bowel cancer and stuff. So there's so many, you know, it's obvious like that. So yeah, this is our quota. So we're not going to get bad reactions if we bad karma, if we stick to our quota. But even then, I said on top of that, so you're stuck to your quota, but then you have to offer your quota. It's not enough just, okay, I'm sticking to my quota of fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains and milk. That's because still you have to get a reaction for taking the life of those, you know, creatures like that. So the way to get out of that, like I said, the loophole, is you need to sacrifice those that quota of food to the Supreme Being like that. And yeah, so Johnny's given another interesting point, that is, we're the only species that incurs karma. Yeah, so that's true. That non-human, they don't get karma. Like, you know, if a tiger eats a sheep, it doesn't get bad karma. It's not going to have to take birth as a sheep, you know, to get the bad karma of that or whatever, like that. So, because they're forced to act in a particular way. You know, according to their natural instincts and everything, they're forced to act. So there's no free choice. They're going to think, oh, is it right or wrong that I eat this sheep or cow or whatever like that? Or even sometimes we see tigers eat humans. It's not thinking, oh, is it right or wrong to eat a human? No, it's just, it's hungry and you're standing in front of it and the instinct is to eat you. So there's no reaction for that. But only in the human being is karma, because we have some free choice. We have that higher thinking capacity, discrimination, to think, is this right or wrong? Is this right that I kill cows and like that? Or is it wrong? I mean, I tell you, from my childhood, when I did see my father shoot a cow, in my heart, the feeling came so strong. I still remember to this day, it's going back, you know, nearly 40 years ago, that this is wrong. This is so wrong. You know, but I was just conditioned to that life. I couldn't get out of it at that time. But we have that within us, that discrimination power to know right from wrong. So therefore, if you knowingly do the wrong thing, you will get punished. If you knowingly do the wrong thing, or you have the potential to know the right thing, and you still do the wrong thing, you will be punished. And that's the law of nature. What goes around comes around. As you sow, shall you reap. Every action has an opposite reaction. So our time's up, so please forgive me if I've upset or offended anyone. It wasn't my intention. Just trying to present some of the Vedic knowledge for the benefit of everyone, including the cows. We love cows. And we wish you all the very best in your journey in this valuable human life. But it's very valuable, this human life. We should use it to its full potential. And wishing you all the very best. Take care.